But for more on all of this and to break down the speech, let's bring in Texas Congressman Tony Gonzales, who's a member of the House Appropriations Committee and the Homeland Security Committee. Congressman, good to see you.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So one of the more heated moments last night happened when Biden brought up the fentanyl crisis happening around the country. I want to play you that moment.
Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. Let's launch a major surge to stop fentanyl production and the sale and trafficking with more drug detection machines, inspection cargo, stop pills and powder at the border.
All right, so you represent the border, and according to Customs and Border Protection, more than 9,000 pounds of fentanyl was seized at the southern border between October and December of last year alone, which is a 214% increase. I guess the question I have is detection enough if you're going to have an open border?
No, the number one thing is enforcement, and that's a large part of what the administration is not doing. The theme of yesterday's State of the Union shouldn't have been let's finish the job. It should have been let's start the job. Let's have a discussion on how we secure the border, and not with rhetoric, not with left-leaning rhetoric saying everything's okay. We're gonna throw a couple band-aids on it, but with actual tangible results. And I would argue Republicans can't fall for the trap of us going into the rhetoric lane either. We need, especially a district like mine that 42% of the southern border, we need real tangible results that will end this border crisis, not 10 years from now, but today.
You know, much of that fentanyl being produced in China, and the drugs from it. President Biden didn't spend much time talking about China last night, just about a minute. He also didn't say much about the spy balloon. He indirectly referred to it. Listen.
We made clear, and I made in my personal conversations, which have been many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world, but make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did.
All right, Congressman, he says that he's committed to working with China. Does he have the right approach?
No, it's absolutely the wrong approach. And anyone that knows China has determined to beat America in every aspect, of whether it's economy, whether it's military, you name it, right? So, but this shouldn't surprise any of us. And we shouldn't be waiting for President Biden to come save the day, because he will never come save the day. It's time for House Republicans to roll up our sleeves and go to work. We are an equal branch of government. We now have the majority in the House. I will be traveling to Taiwan here in a little over a week. It's the second time I've visited Taiwan in around a year. These are the kind of things that we have to do. It can't be empty rhetoric. We have to show that our allies, we stand with you, and we're going to get ahead of problems. And we're ultimately going to hold China and any other of these bad actors, we're going to hold them accountable.
Let me ask you this before we go, because the House Oversight Committee held a hearing today on Twitter and suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story, which was such a huge story. And it's interesting as we see suppression of conservatives. Many people are talking about our own channel, Newsmax, recently being removed from DirecTV lineup. Even Chairwoman of the RNC, Ronna McDaniel, talking about how concerning this is, the big tech censorship and what we're seeing for a platform like this. Are there hearings that are planned right now on this? I know that so many members have been discussing their concern over this move.
Yeah, this is real. The censorship that is happening is absolutely real. And we're just now starting to uncover what we've thought for years now. And Newsmax has certainly been part of the end of that. And we got to get ahead of it. Here in the House, we have to hold these hearings, but it can't just be empty rhetoric. It can't just be theater. There has to be tangible solutions that ultimately get over the finish line. And a lot of times that happens in a bipartisan manner, but you got to get people on board. It can't just be Republicans, yelling at a TV and expecting change. We have to force change, and we force change by bringing the truth out into the light for everyone to see, where there's nowhere for these big tech companies to hide. Part of that started yesterday, and we have to keep that going.
Congressman Tony Gonzales from Texas, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.